Welcome back to Dan Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie Hotbot, released in the year 2016. The movie begins with a news broadcast about sex robots being introduced to the American market by the Hotbot Corporation. Although the US government has yet to approve the new product, executives from the company hope a Congress hearing will allow them to be licensed and sold in the country. On the TV, Dr. Schaefer, the German inventor of the sex robots, introduces a hyper-realistic new bot prototype called Sophia. The news reporter, Nigel, denies being attracted to the robot, feeling embarrassed. Unfortunately, Sophia detects his erection and asks him if he wants to have sex with her. Nigel denies it again, but Sophia continues to arouse him. Meanwhile, a US Senator, Biter, is watching the live broadcast and offers to help Dr. Schaefer get the license needed for his robot, but only if he sends him a robot called Bardot, which is to be delivered to him the next day. But on the way to Biter's house, the robot begins to cause a ruckus and the delivery men go to check the package. Elsewhere, two boys, Lemus Huffington and Leonard, are working at a drive-in when they begin to argue with a customer. Their boss soon intervenes and sends them home for their poor customer service. In the meantime, Bardot attacks the delivery men and escapes, and Senator Biter orders the men to find her and bring her back. That night, as the two boys are complaining about their boss on their way home, they crash into Bardot. Discovering they have hit what appears to be a beautiful woman, the boys begin to panic and consider turning themselves over to the police, but Leonard instead decides they should hide the body in Lemus's room. As the boys carry the body into his room, Lemus panics that they will go to jail, but Leonard says they will bury her in his grandmother's garden. Leonard then has to go home for the night, but before he leaves, he asks Lemus to have sex with the girl. In the morning, the delivery men continue to search for Bardot, but still have no luck, so they contact the Hotbot Corporation to report the missing robot. But when they mention that they were attacked by the sex robot, the receiver suspects they may have touched Bardot inappropriately. The men are baffled by the accusation. When Lemus wakes up, he cannot find the dead girl's body and begins to panic. He searches around his room, but she is nowhere to be found. So he calls Leonard, but Leonard, still sleepy, dismisses his worries and tells Lemus to put up a missing zombie poster and hangs up the phone. His parents and sister leave for church while Lemus continues to search for Bardot. Soon after, Leonard shows up with a chainsaw and they continue to search the house when Bardot suddenly appears from the bathroom. The boys are frightened at first, but then Bardot asks which one of them wants to have sex with her first. The boys are confused but excited and hurry after her as she steps into Lemus's room naked. Leonard insists Lemus should make out with the robot first and wants to watch. However, Lemus is uncomfortable and asks Leonard to leave. Leonard insists, but when Bardot commands him to leave, he has no choice. Now alone, Bardot asks what Lemus would like to do, but since Bardot is only a prototype, her trial period lapses and she deactivates. Lemus is disappointed to learn that she is a robot and not a human. Meanwhile, Senator Biter is infuriated to learn that Bardot hasn't been found, but his men assure him they will find her, while Lemus and Leonard take Bardot to a sex toy shop. At the shop, the owner, Benny, fixes Bardot and tells them she is a sex robot. The boys are thrilled, and Lemus returns home with her, while the delivery men have located the robot using a tracker inside of it. On their way to Lemus's house, the boys study the robot's manual and learn how to use it and discover the robot is even capable of love and other feelings and emotions. That evening, Lemus hides Bardot in his sister's playhouse and starts talking with her. Bardot seems to have already become affectionate towards Lemus, but he has to leave when his parents call him. Later that night, Lemus tries to sneak out of the house to meet Bardot, but is caught by his father and pretends to be sleepwalking as a cover. Lemus then returns to his room but keeps thinking about Bardot and is unable to sleep. In the morning, he hurries to check on Bardot before leaving for school, while the delivery men continue to search for Bardot, but are given the wrong address. At school, Limas and Leonard get into trouble when Leonard distracts the class with pages from Bardot's manual. At home, Shikobi, Limas' sister, returns home to find Bardot in her playhouse. The two bond and she reads the Bible to the robot. Limas and Leonard are suspended for the day by the principal's office and sent home. When the boys arrive home, they find Bardot and Shikobi together. However, after listening to the Bible verses, Bardot is no longer interested in sex. She also reveals that Shikobi taught her that she shouldn't have sex with any man unless he marries her first. Leonard is infuriated with Limas' sister for screwing up the new toy. Elsewhere, the delivery men finally locate the sex shop and threaten to torture Benny if he doesn't give up Bardot's location. He begs for mercy and tells them he doesn't know where the robot is, so they torture him with a dildo. Back at home, Bardot asks Limas to buy her a ring, and he leaves to find her one. While at the sex shop, Benny eventually gives up Bardot's location and tells the delivery men she is with Limas and Leonard. Limas and Leonard go shopping for a diamond ring for Bardot, hoping that when Bardot sees the ring, she will have sex with him. But Leonard thinks buying her a ring is a waste of time, and they should instead just reprogram her. Just then, Bardot is approached by Rodney, a bully from their school, who invites her to a party. As he checks her out, Bardot tells him her body is a temple for Jesus. Rodney laughs, mocking Bardot for being ridiculous. Limas and Leonard notice Rodney making a move on Bardot and interrupt him. Rodney leaves, and the boys leave the store with Bardot. On their way home, they receive a call from Benny warning them that the delivery men are out to get them and they need to give up Bardot. Suddenly, they are ambushed by the delivery men, who are, in fact, agents of Senator Biter. As the henchmen give chase, Bardot uses her advanced vision to guide them as they escape. In a daring move, the boys drive in front of an oncoming train, narrowly surviving while preventing the henchmen from pursuing them further. The boys then meet up with Benny at a motel in a different city to ask him to watch Bardot for the night, as Limas has to have dinner with his family. Bardot is freaked out by the accident and asks why they were pursued. Limas tells her those men want her for the wrong reasons, to which Bardot asks if he wants her for the wrong reasons too, but Limas tells her he likes her. Before they leave, Limas threatens to hurt Benny if he touches Bardot, but Benny insists that Bardot is not a real person, so he will have sex with her. Leonard intervenes, reminding Benny that Boba Fett is not real either. Benny, a Star Wars fan, becomes offended and chokes him. Leonard calls him a terrible friend and leaves with Limas. Limas arrives home late for dinner, and his sister is angry when they don't punish him for it. Shikobi wonders what would happen if she were late too, and her father yells that she must never come home late and not get pregnant until she is married. When Limas refuses to pray with his religious parents, they tell him they know about Bardot, whom they assume is a lady friend. But when Limas tells them she is a sex robot, they scold him. In the meantime, the senator's henchmen report to him about their car incident earlier. Senator Biter is frustrated by their incompetence and yells at them. They tell him they believe Bardot is in Limas' custody, so that night, Senator Biter and his henchmen pay Limas a visit while he is asleep. The senator confronts him and orders that he bring Bardot back to him first thing in the morning. Before leaving, Biter forcefully kisses Limas and then orders his men to watch him until morning and have him bring Bardot back to him. He intends for them to kill Limas after he has taken Bardot back and asks them to bring him over to his house. The following day, Limas and Leonard return to Benny and Bardot at the motel. As Benny tells them Bardot doesn't believe that she is a robot, the motel is surrounded by the henchmen and police officers. Limas tells them that he will not surrender Bardot, while Leonard tells them it is now a hostage situation and they must meet his demands. He tells them to order the group some food or they will not surrender. Benny is dumbfounded, believing Leonard is a moron. Meanwhile, the henchmen believe that Leonard is ordering their last supper and agree to bring them food. But Benny insists that Bardot is not real and they should surrender her. When the boys still refuse, Benny decides to surrender himself, but is knocked out by Agent Fraser, one of the henchmen. The boys panic as the henchmen break into the room and apprehend Bardot. Limas and Leonard are thrown into the trunk of their car while Bardot asks Agent Fraser to set her free, but when he refuses, she attacks him. The officers and other henchmen attack her, but she takes them out one by one. After the fight is over, Bardot tells the boys she is too dangerous to be around. Then Rodney shows up and takes her away while the boys break out of the trunk using Leonard's chainsaw. Back at Hotbot, Agent Fraser and his partner receive a tip about the whereabouts of Bardot, while Limas and Leonard return to work, where they find Rodney taunting them that he has Bardot. Limas and Leonard want Bardot back and plan to invade Rodney's party to get her. At the party, Rodney's girlfriend catches him dancing with Bardot and slaps him before leaving. Bardot slaps him too for trying to force her to kiss him. When Rodney discovers Limas and Leonard are at his party, he attacks and tries to throw them out, but Bardot intervenes and attacks Rodney in retaliation. At home, Mr. Huffington discovers someone has been using his credit card to book a motel room, and his wife suspects he is cheating. Back at the party, Limas and Leonard escape with Bardot, while Mr. Huffington calls to freeze his credit card and Bardot deactivates, as Limas had used his father's credit card to pay the service. The henchmen catch up to them and Bardot is apprehended. Limas and Leonard are scolded by their parents and banned from seeing each other. Limas becomes lonely and misses Bardot. He confesses to Leonard that he is in love with Bardot, but Leonard argues that she is just a robot, and instead, he should try his luck with Cassidy, Rodney's ex-girlfriend. At school, Cassidy tells Limas that she is broken up with Rodney and the two spend time together. Sometime after, Limas suggests that they rescue Bardot from Senator Biter. In the meantime, Senator Biter has wiped Bardot's memory and plans to present her at his manifesto hearing, and Limas and Leonard decide to invade Senator Biter's re-election campaign event in disguise. At the event, the boys locate Bardot, but she doesn't remember who they are. But when Limas tries to jog her memory, she immediately recognizes them. The group attempts to escape, but are ambushed by Biter's security. Luckily, Bardot roughs them up and they get away. Benny drives them to the airport, where Limas tells Bardot she will be safe in another city. The two confess their feelings for each other inside the airport, and Bardot kisses him, but tells him he should be with his first love, and leaves. Sometime later, Cassidy picks Limas up from work and drive into the night together as Leonard cheers them on. That was all from the video. Subscribe for more content like this and leave a like to help the channel out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Take care